Another month, another plugin that I've featured gets poached. I mean, another great feature gets added to the game. March's monthly patch to Rust just landed, and with it all sorts of new fidget toys, with a surprise entry that was added late on. RF detonation. Seriously, looking through the item menu is becoming more and more like browsing the RS catalogue these days. I've also got news regarding finally being able to spy on people with CCTV via the Rust Plus app. More on that in a moment, but first, a quick rundown on what else was added to the primitive survival game known as Rust this month. As you quite possibly know by now, drones can be crafted as of this patch. They're a tier 2 workbench item, and here are the costs. You can place them almost anywhere, set a unique ID, and then connect to them with a computer terminal. They're not the most robust devices in the world, and you have to watch where you're driving, especially near water. Plus, they are subject to range, as predicted, and this is about how far they will go from your position. About 500 meters as of writing, which is rather generous if you ask me, but this can be adjusted by server owners. They're perfect for general reconnaissance, and I think the only improvement I'd suggest at the moment would be being able to deliver items with them ourselves. Nudge nudge, wink wink. If you like that, you'll like this. Turrets can now be paired and controlled in the same way. You can use them to look at things and shoot them, although these too are subject to range, so you won't be sniping from afar. But as for this being OP, well, if you insist that you're a better aim than the turret itself, fine, but I don't see that this is an advantage in that way, apart from perhaps being able to rotate them 360 degrees in this mode, which I agree is a distinct bonus. You can't control them in Peacekeeper mode, so there's no lulling into false senses of security going on, but there is something just nice, I think, about being in control. Let me know what you think. Talking of which, another craftable CCTV camera, as shown in the previous vid and now available alongside the existing one, is this, a pan, tilt and zoom jobby that can only be placed on a ceiling, available at all good tier 2 workbenches. Pretty self-explanatory, left click to switch between its 3 zoom levels as per binoculars, and it's worth noting that all CCTV cameras now only need 3 power instead of 5. Praise be. Now, something that the community has been foaming at the touchscreen for many moons is being able to log into your CCTV feeds via the Rust Plus app, and the good news is that finally the technology has caught up with us. Kind of. And an alpha release of the feature is now available on the app, although be warned, the feed isn't going to be in glorious 4K ray-traced rusty vision. It's more like Doom trying to run on a Tamagotchi right now. There's a lot of info trying to go a long way from your CCTVs to your phone, and I imagine this may especially be an issue in countries where the string between the cups needs regular tightening. You know who you are. As I say, it's an alpha feature and the team will be attempting to improve it over time, but if you've managed to try it, please let me know in the comments how the experience went for you. What a time to be alive. Just remember, Big Brother is always watching you. As I mentioned at the start, a late entry to this month's development was the ability to now detonate C4 remotely, and this is how it works. Select your C4 and click Enable RF, then set a frequency. Incidentally, this can be done on a stack of them or individually. You can then deploy that C4, it'll have a green light instead of red, and after a 10-second delay, the bleeping will stop and you can detonate it from anywhere at your leisure. Useful for controlled demolitions, traps, or even self-destruct systems, and you can detonate multiple at the same time. I'm sure there are already a few cogs whirring in your minds. Just a few things to note. Anyone can pick up a deployed C4 that's set in this way with a 5-second delay, but this is only possible after the initial 10-second setup. Any that are placed outside of your building zone will decay within 24 hours, and changing the frequency on detonators and RF broadcasters now damages them very slightly, because knobs. If that wasn't enough, in other news, some satisfactory improvements to the industrial system were made. There are some more advanced filtering options for conveyors, such as being able to make the filter require all, any, or none of the listed items, along with 3 other modifiers to control how much gets passed through and under what circumstances. Please pause here to read the details. Pipe placement's been refined, so it should be possible to make neater runs as the distance between pipe points has been reduced a lot. Plus, you can now have green pipes. and holding shift whilst placing a pipe will make it collide with deployables so you can route the pipes around them better. I just wish we could hold shift whilst using the wire tool to snap wires to angle increments. Nudge nudge, wink wink. The crafter also now has 4 slots for blueprints, so you can craft more than one thing depending on what components are available to it. And in a slight amendment to what I said in the last vid, the maximum depth that a conveyor can manipulate items along a network has been increased to 32 containers. Plus, a big change to vending machines is that now, when one's destroyed, instead of no loot being dropped, 50% of it will. An explanation of the reasoning behind this can be found on the blog or here, so pause and read if you like. This will be monitored to see what happens, but feel free to discuss this in the comments. Elsewhere, multi-threaded networking is coming along well. It seems to be running okay and should be something that will be made available to all servers and clients sometime this month, and we shall see then what kind of performance gains, if any, we get from it. Zip lines should be less likely to kill you if you collide with the terrain, and their placement's been improved again to avoid terrain obstacles. Oh, and it looks like a double horse saddle is in development. Oh, great. Thanks. Those are all the major news stories this week. There are, of course, many other things in the works, such as new monuments and a new player attack helicopter, as previously mentioned, and I'll bring you any new news as I get it, so sub to the channel and stay tuned. Let me know your thoughts on this week's stuff down below, and leave me a like if you feel up to it. You can find links below to all my socials, Twitch and Patreon, etc. I shall catch you all soon, but in the meantime, keep calm and stay rusty. Cheerio. Just remember, Big Brother is always watching you.